Join O꽌yèmí Akínyòdé and his co-host Victor Achibong and our in-house analyst Saeed Fouad as they bring to you breaking news and analysis, exclusive interviews, engaging debates, public interaction, election coverage, and all political conversations. Straight 120 minutes of live, unfiltered, and unapologetic political conversations.
At some point, we must ask ourselves that what has caused us to be in this present state? Is it because Nigerians are not talking enough?
Every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos.
Down the line, people are still suffering. Yes, I agree that. But it started trickling in on the macro level. That's on the upper level, not on the lower level. So I'm hoping that in the next 2-3 years, the policies of Mr. President will trickle up. This is first president that stopped subsidy. This is first president that matched the $2. That is why we are sold at very high rate. People sit in their houses and use their tank farms and collect paper and they make money. But this is one president who have said, if you are ready to make money, make it the right way. If you are not ready to make money, you leave it. So I don't think, moreover, they have to vote for him because you see, President Tinubu is not going to be a president voted by the South alone. He will be a president that will be voted by North and South. And it's also for the interest of everybody.
Good afternoon and welcome to Midweek Politics live on Mainland 98.3 FM. I want to believe your day has been going well so far. Today is the 28th day of the month of July, month of May 2025. And when I say 28th day of the month of July, if you put something together, you know that that's the day I'm looking forward to, especially for July births like us. Okay. Former convicted governor of Abia State and now the senator representing Abia North senatorial for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not just, it shouldn't be a conversation of a Southern president alone, because it's not going to be voted for only by Southerners. It's also going to be voted for by Northerners. So it's going to be a Nigerian president. And then, you know, sometimes when you listen to public office holders and then their speed food as easy as finding food. Nobody's even talking meal. Nobody's even talking of luxury now. A decent shelter. Nobody's even talking of driving sport cars or SUVs by the anti-graft agency that was sentenced to jail, but because the courts in his own wisdom, the same man is in the Senate right now and he's saying that Nigerians don't work hard, that Nigerians just sit that surround Mr. President. He came into the chamber yesterday, 2027, blah, blah, blah on it, and then so he got into the interview and had in a very long time. And then today is going to be like a prelude to the big one tomorrow, which is the town hall conversation we're having here. And we have guests that manifesto leading to the 2023 election. It's going to be 2 years tomorrow that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was sworn in as the 10th democratically elected president in Nigeria. And within that period, we've never had this good. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a blessing to us. Is this, is that? Some people on the other side are also saying, oh, their Nigerians are going through the toughest of times that they've had in a very long time. It depends on where you stay. By the way, we're hosting the 50th anniversary of ECOWAS in Nigeria at the moment at the convention center of the hotels, being hosted by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And it just shows the strength of our democracy in terms of numbers. It just shows the strength of the growth of our politics. But the most important thing is that we've had elections in 1999 all the way down till 2023. We had 2003 democracy, and in the last 2 years or thereabouts, the leadership of the regional bloc and these countries have also fallen under the control of the military, Burkina Faso, Mali, and then these are countries that are priding themselves as part of the pillars of the ECOWAS. So the question is, under the presidency of ECOWAS, of course, President Bola Ahmed draw of about 4 of those states, of course, member states. That's what they address countries as. But now it's a body set out to protect the region, states from invasion, from external attackers, to foster, economic. It's the operation of ECOWAS. Unfortunately, in the last few years, 2 key factors out to the 2023 election. Today, would focus on this country in the last 24 months under the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We'll also look at national security. I would decide to put these two side by side of any form of development whatsoever. Section 14, subsection 2 of the Nigeria 1999 Constitution as amended spelled very clearly the principal responsibility of every government, the primary country that you are presiding over. That means whether you are party A, B, whether you vote for APC or you vote for a party XYZ, as long as you identify as a Nigerian, a law-abiding Nigerian, it's a principal responsibility for the government. And just like Dr. Daniel Bwala said when he joined me on the show last week, level, especially now with the autonomy of local governments, so it's a whole lot of conversation. At the city centers, even safer. How is Benue the food basket of the nation? How is Plateau State the home of peace and tourism? How is Borno State? These are the removal of subsidy was announced. It literally just changed the course of the entire conversation, and we're trying to, dust off the effect of, say, in the last 2 years, but we've not been able to do that. I think the cheapest you can get petrol anywhere now, even a time that it was not available. So these are the issues we look at on the show today. Where are we? But tomorrow, we have a security, education, youth, and sport. We'll focus on all of those. It's not exactly like it's an assessment of a pass mark. Is more like a mid-term scorecard. Let's check. Where have we gotten to? Have we made progress? Maybe from here, we are 30% better than we used to be. From here, we're back to minus. From here, we're 100% better than we used to be. We'll talk about all of that from today and 4 to 6 p.m. So we've got the former or the acting DJ of NBC and the former zonal director of NBC, Mr. Matthew Okoda, is going to be with us, a surprise guest, and that is going to balance all of the conversation up tomorrow. But today's Wednesday is 1 to 3 p.m. Midweek Politics. If you're meeting me for the very first time, my name is Okoyemi Akin, and you're live from Milan 98.3 FM. Side Forward is here today, a unique kind of Wednesday, by the way. This time last year, we're talking about 364 days in the office of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Today, we're assessing 24 more, which is 2 years. And the question...
Good afternoon to you. Nice to join you in the studio to discuss politics, discuss policies and governance. It's unbelievable. 2 years.
Felt like yesterday.
Just like yesterday. General elections, putting things in place, getting our team ready. I think it all started from even the point of accreditation, if you remember. Prepping ourselves, getting vehicles ready, prepping the team, arranging things from all the different states, from the presidential and national assembly elections till when we eventually held the governorship and state assembly elections, So the whole conversation around the 3 front runner candidates at that time, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, now, suddenly came from almost nowhere. So, and I remember that even after the elections, we cannot forget in a hurry the collation of results, the Dino Milaye movement, at the INEC secretariat in INEC collation
center. An SDP logo, a regalia, day first. It's Dino as such.
I really would have avoided talking about Dino Milaye because in terms of behavior, a Dino is a no-no for me. He doesn't even speak to anything for me, really. He doesn't stand for anything. His character, his behavior, the way he carries himself, the things he puts out on social media, so It's not someone I really in politics, and we had to refer to what happened at the INEC Collation Center during the presidential election. So there was during Jonathan, there was the Yorùbá movement. But in 2023 it was the Dino movement. So, and all of that, then of course, the court cases, the stage step by step, the 25% or controversy to the inauguration day after the Supreme Court judgment, till, subsidies gone, speech of Mr. President. And here we are, 2 years down the line. We have to do a review of half of what is left for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to rule the country. Should he, for example, not win a second? Now, there's a lot to reflect on. Okay, I mean, there's a lot to reflect on. I really don't want to bother myself with what the politicians are saying. Again, you can see that the average politician is not bothered about a proper how they win the elections. It's only known to them, and that's what they focus their minds on. Every other thing that concerns governance, you've seen that they've pushed it to the background. So it's just about, look, how can we, position ourselves? How can we play the politics to retain power or either hijack power, depending on which of the divide you belong to? So it is for Nigerians to do a self-appraisal of and speak to your own reality. That look promised Nigerians. Poetry in the sense that, look, poetry is not always straight. You have to figure it out. You have all manner of things hidden, using different, literary terminologies and what have you. So how well, for example, former President Muhammadu Buhari came in 2051, that they now use this logo of things to move forward. I've forgotten what what the 2019 slogan was on that Buhari, but I know change, and at some point we later discovered that, look, it was just a wave of change that we did not pass. So we moved. So and those were, did we probe it enough in 2015, or it was just, let's just move? Let's just move.
Regular sloganeering.
Again, Nigerians at that time wanted something else but Jonathan. It had gotten to that point. Insecurity had gotten to the highest. Corruption was flying right, left, and center. We can't forget it. The opposition at that time was able to frame the Jonathan government for what it really was: clueless, lack of focus, incompetent. So they saw what it was.
God bless Lai Mohammed.
Yes, well, he was. So he wanted to deliver. The fact that, look, President Jonathan seemed a bit clueless about what was going on around him, the corruption in the system, and then insecure. And the opposition at that time did not cut him any slack. It was bad. And at that time, all the responsibility for failure at that time was put on Jonathan's desk.
Nobody made excuses for.
They didn't talk about governors. You remember that a lot of the at that time. So change came. They sold the change mantra. People bought into it. Remember, even when people were questioning the credentials, certificate of
they said even if it's NEPA bill, bring it.
Jonathan had to go. So there were a lot of promises about fixing the foreign exchange crisis at that time. We don't have the figures now, but I know that the dollar to Buhari government came. We're going to fix it. I remember some of their campaigns. $1 to ₦1. We're going to fix the issue. We're so happy because they felt, look, a new sheriff was in town, a former general. So a retired general was going to be taking over the mantle of leadership, and look, the troublemakers in the land were in trouble themselves, because this one thing Nigerians had hoped for, expected under the Buhari government, is zero tolerance to corruption. He said, this is a man, and there are no records of him stealing people's money, so under him, things were going to change, unlike, quote unquote, the clueless Jonathan administration that allowed for widespread corruption and what have you. And 4 years, things that we had thought that government would fix got worse. And then there was the excuse that, it's just 4 years. So within the first 4 years, I'm sorry that I have to go this so that people understand where we're coming from and why it is important for us not to do this half-time appraisal of this administration and continue to deceive ourselves again. I knew what my age was, Okoyemi, in 2015. So half-time, 4 years down the line, insecurity got more terrible. In fact, it was under the first 4 years of Buhari, school children were also still kidnapped from their dormitories, from their hostels. Corruption now would not leave the studio. But the excuse then was that, 16 years of the PDP destroying the country wasn't going to be easy to fix.
Badly managed
for 16 years, and you don't expect someone to come in 4 years to fix the problem. So the hope was that, look, the second term, it deserves the second term,
the next level,
consistency, and then the body slogan again.
Next level.
Next level. But did you ask question about what level we're going to? What was that next level?
What level were we?
So
that we are going to another level from.
We didn't ask, So the next level thing again.
We're pumping.
The narrative was sold to, and look at where we have corrupt economy, a damaged economy. So from what they had said was a clueless government to change, it wasn't a surprise that renewed hope came. And renewed hope was said to have.
Now is coincidental. 93, 2003. There's a Yoruba president. Yoruba this.
So the sloganeering sold perfectly. That beautiful. A lot of us, or a lot of Nigerians, were actually a victim of hope, because it's just proper that once you are alive,
especially
keep up
when
alive.
There's almost nothing to hold on to. So the glimmers of it, you're grabbing.
And so you don't blame Nigerians for
grabbing.
Time to renew your hope. And the campaign promises, remember, Okoyemi, one of the things I love for Kombale, the close do and go to achieve. Until day, I think the only president that reduced the price of petrol for Nigerians who's going to come in, fix the raw benefit. The story of the average vulnerable Nigerian today. What data are we going to be working with? Vulnerable in the society. And so, on the renewed hope mandate, on the first day, 2023, May 29, 2023, the president giving his inaugural speech started by removing subsidy. As a follow-up policy, floated the Naira. And then as also additional follow-up policy, went on an aggressive revenue drive. Tax covered. I was telling Sage, I think it was during the week that looks, and you discovered that you've created thousands of other problems. And that's why I was hoping that you would play what audios or Kalu.
No, I like how you took us, maybe not memory lane as such, more like in case you got into politics in 2023, or by the sentiment of, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu turned Lagos to El Dorado from 1999 to 2007, take us back to what really happened pre-2015 when the APC, after the official announcement of the merger in February 2014, won an election for the very first time, defeating an incumbent president. Talking about the PDP, ending PDP 16 years after the secretariat of the PDP in Abuja, the Wadata Plaza, has been sealed off by them, so they should pay up so that they can open the secretariat. And sometimes when you go, don't even have an idea what Nigeria is. The journalists, you people should be dealing with that. I'm sure a lot of Nigerians never at any point went through the action. The first had to be on national security. Second is economy. Third is agriculture. There's power. There's oil and gas. There's transportation, culture, youth empowerment and entrepreneurship, women empowerment, social programs, judicial reforms, and like Said Fuad said, 80 pages, all in color, beautiful. If you actually got a grip of that, the Facebook, mainland 98.3 I'll play you 3 billion of Abia people's money, but it was actually agreed I stole. But they said the courts that convicted, and you know how long it takes anti-graft agencies to secure convictions in this country. Well, we'll leave that one for another day. But he's talking at voice of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the points where he said we should relax. that they will bring petrol down. And the second way, he said, let the poor breathe. Are you breathing? Stick around.
Political Discourse with Midweek Politics, your go-to program for in-depth discussion.
Bag of rice tẹ́lẹ̀ ẹjọ́ tó rọ lọ ara bag of rice 20,000 ẹjọ́ tó rọ lọ báyìí sí ara.
Join 괶ɔ̀pɛ̀yɛmí and his co-host Victor Achibong and our in-house analyst Saeed Fouad as they bring to you breaking news and analysis, executed and unapologetic political conversations.
At some point, we must ask ourselves that what has caused us to be in this present state? Is it because Nigerians are not talking enough?
The line. People are still suffering. Yes, I agree that. But in the next 2-3 years, the policies of Mr. President will thank farms. This is first president that stopped subsidy. This is first president that matched the $2. That is why we are suffering. Because Nigerians are not used to working hard. We are used to getting cheap money. People sleep in their houses and use telephone and get dollar and sell it at very high rate. People sit in their houses and use their tank farms and collect paper and they make money. But this is one president who have said, if you are ready to make money, make it the right way. If you are not ready to make money, you leave it. So I don't think, moreover, they have to vote for him because, you see, President Tinubu is not going to be a president voted by the South alone. He will be a president that will be voted by North and South. And it's also...
Add the 200. Add the member.
Let the poor breathe. Don't suffocate them.
Okay, welcome back to Midweek Politics, live from Milan. And the former governor of Abia State, distinguished Senator 괡ᴜᴜ, a Nigerian thing. But he also said that Nigerians try to understand how many Nigerians actually have tank farms. 괡ᴜᴜ also has tank farms, so maybe he's making reference to what he does by sitting and just using papers to high as 200 naira. Ladies and gentlemen, for 1,020 naira, one paying to breathe in this country. How many Nigerians can afford it? Side forward, let's first see national 23 election, and let me pick it up. The fundamental responsibility of government is to protect the lives and government. That's the administration of Muhammadu raised their flags in other country. Now, the population were fearful permanently. The first paragraph, and it says that we shall hardly pursue the following: 1, anti-terrorism battalions. Superiority. 5, improve salaries and welfare. Those are the things when it comes to security. Senator representing Edo North Senatorial District, Senator Comrade Adams Oshiomhole said that 2 happen. Now let's put it back to what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said when he was the candidate of the party. He said he's going to continue from where the administration of Muhammadu Buhari will stop. This is not a PDP to APC transition. It is the same APC to APC. Adams Oshiomhole said that this administration meant a badly managed government. And I'm asking, who was the national chairman under that badly managed government? Side forward, you saw those items.
Well, thank you, Okwemi. Well, it's really difficult because administration, kidnappings, Boko Haram taking territories, are still the insurgents of Boko Haram elements in Borno State, and that look, some local government more forest guards, to man our forest. Governor Zulum talking about the fact that look, our military being ransacked.
Let me give you some really, really disturbing numbers. People have been killed. Of those people, 533 of them, 154 people have been displaced. Out of these, the
numbers are scary. Disturb to manage some of this information. You can't all put everything out there the way you have it. You have to look at how sensitive. Because again, during the last episode, I'm like, now that it's 2 years strategy, to taming the scourge of insecurity in different parts of the country. That in the renewed manifesto are solutions to the state of insecurity at that time. Area technological superiority. Any of these things have really been done by the kids that have died under this administration. But the Premium Times in May 2024, when the paper was doing a review 4,500 Nigerians had been killed. My mind tells me that the numbers would have
4 and April in 2024, 2025 alone. Now, let's local government in Benue all the way down to that village. Just
deep into these numbers. Again, we understand that we like to come. There will always be winners and losers. But when politicians don't understand that, look, there are things you don't play politics with. You can talk about agriculture, diversification of the economy, talk about healthcare, but when it comes to what is supposed to be the primary job of every government, any serious Nigerian to see, this is not about being a member of the APC, PDP, or whatever. It is about Nigerians. It is about our fellow human beings. It's about our fellow citizens who see the figures are scary. And this is not the time to begin to look for who to blame. Like I told you before the beginning of the show, give him excuses at that time. They didn't look for who to blame. When Boko Haram are taking over many positions at that time, puts the responsibility of securing that part of the country
on the president.
On the now looking for who to blame. You know, I've seen a so-called, and some of these guys are actually big liabilities. Ebola messed Tinubu's ambition of second term. Because all he did again, look, these statements, they pitch him against the people.
Unconsciously.
Maybe they dressed from his house deliberately that day in a crested attire to show his complete support for the president ahead of the 2027 elections, right?
We don't work hard, we are lazy.
They want cheap things.
We use our phones to make cheap money.
Just how is that supposed to be a plus to the ambition of the president for second term? Maybe I'm telling you, sometimes even the Senate president does it. There are some cities he says that I'm like, does this guy really like the president, or he's just playing games? You know, for example, when he mocks the people, the way he carries.
About 3 man of the country.
You know. So when they say this, you know, like, is the president taking note of some of these guys, or he's also carried away by the megalomanias and the psychophans shown?
Trial, he was convicted.
So such a man will show more discretion and be a bit more circumspect. And look at what he was saying, okay? That look, yeah, okay, has to exercise more patience. But when you now say, oh, I also have a tank farm, and you know there are Nigerians who just use tank farm to go and collect money. Okay, do I have a tank farm?
How many Nigerians have tank farms?
So he talked about people racketeering the foreign exchange market, the racketeering going for. How many of you do I say dollars? So the question is, the things that the elitist class were doing to kill the economy, the ordinary people should still be blamed. Now that we remove subsidy and people have to sweat, the cost of transportation has gone through the roof, fueling cars have become a problem for the people.
And people are wondering why.
Tell me how much it takes them to and fro work. Nothing is left really for them for savings. Suffering. That's why I feel that the president must also.
Side forward. In case the people don't understand who Ojuzo is, 7.5 billion naira, and was sentenced to 2 hours during Kalu's administration as governor. He was also sentenced May. The judgment of this Muhammad Idris, who delivered the judgment, was already sworn in as a justice of the court, be reassigned for a trial, and that was the end of it.
And he's still there,
still hanging around with conviction on his neck.
You know, so you see, tomorrow there'll probably be enough numbers to still work with. But you tell me, if you ask me if he can do it, why not? All the shot. The mandate that was given to him, the first responsibility on that mandate means that, look, you know, it's just like a football match, half time. Anything can still happen.
If the player is warming up, if the player is messing up, another one is warming up.
You know, the beautiful thing, for example, in football game is that after the first 45 minutes, the coach has the opportunity to go into the dressing room, a point of reflection, look at his players, begin to see.
Except you're my coach.
I don't know.
That one, there's nothing to say.
Now the same thing.
5-1.
5-4-5-1.
And have a figure at the center.
Who can deliver, you know, make the true passes and all of that, you know. So you may have to now begin to look at, okay, this is my striker. I'm not going to play with the top 9 again. Go and sit down. Now look at the issue of insecurity, for example, because we are looking at just 2 to really be able to deliver on the job. Who are the ministers of defense, both the Minister of Defense and the Minister of State for Defense?
The one for state was the former governor of Zamfara. There are about 6 local governments fell to the hand of insurgents under his governorship.
And that's why I keep saying that, look, this moment is also a period where I think the president should speak true to himself. There's too much politics around him for now, really. And my fear is that, look, this too much. At the APC summit, it was psycho-fancy at the highest level.
Very highest.
You would have thought that, look, everything was going on well. The statement, the speech.
Opponents.
The national
El-Rufai, the son endorsed the second time election.
A better Nigeria.
A working Nigeria.
A working Nigeria, a prosperous Nigeria. That's we know how the game is played. But what I'm saying is that, look, maybe the president needs to begin to substitute, remove appraisal of him, what he has been able to do so far. Upgrade of, technology, dominance, area dominance, and all of those kind of things. Where are we on this point? Where are we on the issue of equipment, Okoyemi? Where are we, for example, we were talking about Tucano under entry of the manhunt, America's manhunt of Osama bin Laden. Intelligence gathering.
Period.
It's not about
There's no noise.
It's not about the number of many troops did the US even put in Afghanistan. They were less than 200 American soldiers. What they did instead was to work with the local community, pick intelligence that eventually tracked Osama. The question is, you call them Bello Turji, for example. Where are we on this case? So these, how consistent are we on their trail to eliminate them? Securing our territories, making our forests safer, because at the end of the day, it's become widespread. In the southeast, for example, whether you call them IPOB or non-government, ESN, what had 3 or 4 weeks ago, Amotekun was everywhere. It speaks to the fact that, look, there's fear, palpable fear in communities that people. Those were areas you go to, Okoyemi, without any fear, nobody's. Those are local communities, locals who have soldiers mounting checkpoints. And so, how do we get back to a period where, for example, I, for example, left Lagos in 2005 for NYSC, drove to Abuja, got to Plateau, got to Jos, drove to the entire Bauchi. No fear that somebody was going to come from the bush to attack anybody. We're not talking about 1972. I'm talking about 2005, 2006 down the line. So it requires a lot of work. That would not be about politics. Even another 4 years will come, there will still be politics. But what about the promises to the people to keep them safe in their homes? When will Plateau State, for example, know peace? When will the people of Plateau State begin to sleep with their 2 eyes closed?
And that's the state with the slogan of home of peace and tourism. And
the peace has never has eluded them for years. When will the people of Benue State, as we speak, because there are people who kill people in their farms, ransack villages, we have the numbers. So where is politics in all of this now? It is the commitment that we're talking about here. So at halftime, and I'm happy that the president is in Lagos, so he may just be listening to us. There's still opportunity for him to look at his team, change the narrative now, give instructions how to. I think the NSA needs to go. Can we get somebody, not leave the government, maybe redeploy to something else? Maybe.
That doesn't give any regards to politics.
I'll give you an example. I was having a conversation, for example, with. He was able to really get a lot of work going, and that was why at transition, Fashola came in and just. It was as if it was magical that a lot of things Fashola did.
The templates that the president left.
And that, look, do you know the guy who was doing a lot of the underground work? Job. He was a guy nobody knew in the political space until 2027, and that was Fashola, 2007. He was the chief of staff who was committed to doing his job. A lot of them said, oh, at that time, even when politicians come to him, I'm busy. He was such a busy guy who was never interested in politics.
Of the Surveyor General of Lagos, and then I saw, I think we're somewhere in the morning, and then some people were running around. There were no iPhones this much then, and then I just saw him with his BlackBerry with the folded up shirt, and then the person was telling the other person that if it was how much control Fashola had, even as a chief of staff, 8 years from works to if somebody can handle this much. In fact, they combined this ministry.
That was even a very wrong policy choice, wrong policy decision from the Buhari government. There was really no reason why you had to view. He hardly was able to really deliver. There was the power ministry.
There was works. And housing.
How do you do that? So how is Fashola the only person? They have the fantastic people, probably technocrats or something, and then works. Maybe Fashola would have done a beautiful job in works and what have you. So you can see that eventually they have to really just say scorecard. I'll allow the experts tomorrow do the scorecard.
I'm sure with the loads of messages excuse me, that we have on Facebook already, the scorecard is out, and I will read all of those. The bulk of the conversation had gone on build the finest infrastructure side forward, give the best quality education, fix the healthcare. But if the people don't feel safe, you're not going anywhere. If the people don't feel safe, there can't be foreign investors. So I'm somewhere in Venezuela, and I see 40 people killed. I type play 2, I see so and so people killed. Or I'm somewhere and I'm wondering. So in regards to the economy, two of the issues that this economy to 23.3%, food inflation is now 27.9%, or it was 42 and 46. How do you measure these indices or these numbers that on paper are coming down if it does not reflect in the daily lives of the people? The woman selling yam in Tunuwada in Kano, the woman Akara in Ebonyi, in Abakaliki. If this policy not buy you a bag of rice, how do you juxtapose some of these numbers in the reduction in inflation and the existence that we have on ground side forward?
Again, the numbers will probably never agree. You have a situation where we've decided to begin to create our own modalities table, which is okay. Sometimes information management is also key, because again, it is like an intimate reality. It's at 27.9%. Whether unemployed, I think about 4 or 5%. Using so-called standards that we decide to now import to make ourselves feel good, feel good, are always facts, and the reality of the people is where you get the facts from. Actually, when you're talking about, we didn't go to the London business school. If I stand before a professor of, you have good brains, your brains are working, because I'm going to be talking to you on the basis of common sense. What is the common sense here?
The realities.
All the economic policy of the government is soft now. I do a lot of check, to make it very simple. And what you do is to check the reality of the people, go to mark, and you're very clear from day one. For example, in world of it's always been that, there's now more money available to government, right? Since we removed subsidy, that the wastages, the fraud that was prevalent during the subsidy regime is no more. But the question is this: the monies we've made available to the government, what have we been able to do with it? You can see that, look, even the World Bank that the government likes to listen to is already giving us projections of more poverty by 2027. The living standards of the people. Yet, for some of us, we are taught that, look, why don't you deal with those people than punishing the entire Nigerians? Now, let us even now imagine that, we have to suffer, because in dealing with those people, we also have to feel the pain. Where are we? Let us even go through the dark tunnel. And I was hoping that there will be changes, pattern, a new movement. How you discover that is how the monies that are now available to government are being appropriated. And how do you know that there's now a departure from what was being done in the past? You look at the appropriations of today. You and I did a review of the 2024 budget. Up to what has been the level of transparency? What are the things we are putting monies into? That shows that, look, there's a departure
from where we used to be.
Budget, for example, has been doing a fantastic job in what we call data journalism.
Did you see that revelation?
It's there for people to go and read. The things are available. When Budgie told us that over 11,000 projects have been, in the street, they say one thing.
They use boys quarter to enter the main building.
Before any other thing.
6.93 trillion was inserted into the budget.
In projects, in very fraudulent, shady, useless projects.
They said 2025 budget lacks transparency. Clean.
It's there. Look, I told people, don't get lazy.
Senator Nengi of Bauchi State.
That's like we're operating.
He was suspended.
He said that the budget is like 2.
The one they have is
are doing fantastic in data journalism for us, bringing out the figures, getting us to see some of these things. Street light, Ministry of Agriculture, and then you also have training institute, schools. We are still buying stationaries. We are still doing all manner of renovation of buildings. Yes, we agree. But to what end is the suffering that Nigerians are going through when the same misappropriations that we were doing before still subsist? Where's the fiscal discipline to show that, the suffering will be temporary, are ready to wait? But are they waiting on the other side? I was listening to Akpabio. Again, we are people of words. I mean, this good.
Said forward. Well, it says that valued at about 6.93 trillion inserted by the National Assembly into the 2025 federal government budget. So if the Senate president says they've never had this good, he understands what he's saying.
There's still no convergence between your monetary policies and your fiscal policies, because it's one thing with fiscal discipline. Your fiscal policies are not aligning. What you do is that you just put your people through needless suffering, unending suffering that was supposed to be created by the government. They've all gone silent on it, because those things can never for anybody. Have you? The first year it was rice.
Flooding in Borno, rice. Killing in Plateau, rice. Killing in Benue, rice. Everything has subsided.
Have you also noticed that the old talk about CNG has gone quiet? Have you noticed? The old thing about CNG. You talk about, fuel is expensive, CNG. If you cannot buy petrol, CNG. Have you noticed?
Bringing in CNG. I know it's going to be difficult for you, side forward, to put some numbers out, but it's absolutely disturbing. I'm sure that this is the best. Went through that journey from change in 2015 to next level in 2019 to renewed hope in 2023. We don't know.
President Muhammadu Buhari also did a lot of roads, if they care to know. At least he did the second Niger Bridge and did a lot of roads. But this government also came in.
Aside for when we're done with this whole second year anniversary, when we move into the second phase, the third year with them, we come talk about politics, policies, and governance. I think that's a conversation that we need to enlighten Nigerians about, because as we speak, just like Said Fuad said, there seems to be a whole lot of politicking going on around the president right now. The campaigners from everybody's just rushing into the All Progressive Congress as if it's a ship that is about to sail. Let's see how it goes. But I'm sure that when we're done with all of this midterm assessment, we'll have a robust conversation around politics, policies, and governance itself. You're live on Miller 98.3 FM. It's midweek politics, 1 to 3 p.m. And then we're having a midterm scorecard of the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu tomorrow. The 29th of May is going to be the second year of this administration. I mean, you look at the countries he's visited within these 2 years that he's been in office. We'll talk about all of that today. And of course, it's still move into tomorrow by 4 p.m. We'll continue the conversation with Mr. Mɪᴅ-ᴡᴇᴇ, the chief political editor of Guardian newspaper, Mr. Matthew Okodo, the former acting DG of NBC and the former zonal director of NBC as well. And like I said, with a surprise guest, we'll unveil that tomorrow morning at the earliest. Hey, you're live from Mainland FM. You can join the conversation at 410. Side for is here. We'll always come together every Wednesday, 120 minutes to drill all of these conversations. We'll play you soundbite. We'll talk about every element of whatever story we choose to focus on. Well, let me quickly touch Facebook. I would also pick your calls. And we have side fire was planted by the opposition to criticize Tinubu. The only mischief do midterm as only the mischief do not do anything right. Okay.
Now, this person has the opportunity to tell us what Tinubu did now.
And that's the platform
to talk to us about. He has made me the subject of the conversation. You have an opportunity that if there are things I didn't say that you felt I should have said about what the government did, it was an opportunity for you. So if you are intelligent, you should have just focused on the issue
and ignore this one.
Subject.
James Chukwuebukem says, let all Jews or Kali try and make any comment that does not placate the presidency and see how his sleeping case will be revisited. That's James from Agbado. The funniest appointment in this administration. It's chilled. It's very chilled. Not enjoy the basic. All the policies from this government have been anti. God bless my country and God bless you as well. Let's pick more messages on Facebook. I would come back and also pick some of the calls that are already coming in. I supported Buhari because of his past record, but I was so disappointed by his disastrous government, and I thought we've seen it all. Bam! Here comes President Tinubu. Planning for this job his entire life. He lied that he was blue. John Bernardo, don't worry. I can always trust us here. Benjamin, he says, good afternoon to you guys. Truth be told, since May 2023 that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu took over the leadership of this country, I've not seen any improvement in it. All of these things are worse. To tell you how bad things are, many Nigerians are saying they will be glad if the president can take them back to former President Muhammad. Campaign to the APC continue in 2027 election. I mean, from Shogunle. Let's read more messages so that we can spend enough time picking your calls. Linus says, all Jews or Kalu is a Senate. Mr. Gege Joshua, thank you very much for your consistency. And we say happy birthday to you. Babalola Williams says, nice job you guys are doing. Thank you very much. Okay. This one says, my name is Festus from Egbeda. You guys have seen it till now. Whether we like it or not, until the security of lives and properties is prioritized in this country. Pastor Ambrose, you're leading the conversation from this end.
Good afternoon.
You're welcome.
Get Joshua, happy birthday. I wish you many more happy return. Contribute sometimes. You know, you are unpredictable. Happy birthday, Get Joshua. What?
Good afternoon, Pastor.
You know, each time that you talk, they will always come for you. But like you have said, you have an opportunity to tell us what Mr. President has done, and you are attacking the personality of Alhaji. And one of the reasons why this president removed the so-called fuel subsidy is because he said that Nigeria was precipitating. So all the monies that he made, he told us then they should supply grain, they should supply rice. That there was SAP. You could see all those coasters. I don't know if you remember. They were everywhere.
Mass buses, yeah.
Yes. As we speak now, there is no fuel. Fuel is expensive. No electricity. Okay, you remove subsidy on fuel, you cannot subsidize electricity. As we speak now, there is insecurity. There is no food anywhere. So all the money you are taking, and that's why we are where we are today. And then when we talk, people should come and tell us, this is what this government has done. Bloated. Very, very much bloated. And all, if you go to Edo State now, no road. So you are doing the coastal line, you have neglected every other place for 22,000 now. Several like that. People are dying. So for me, Mr. President, I want to tell you honestly, if you perform, I think to the best of my knowledge.
Thank you, Pastor Ambrose, and I'm glad. The president is in Lagos as we speak. So I'm happy with the conversation we're having today. Hello, good afternoon.
First, I want to, being, a veteran, there's something that been, some people dig out about this political party. There are three things I want to talk about. One of them is a party, an offshoot of APC, Bola Tinubu. There's every evidence that the funding not only that party. I used to be in a political desk in two prominent national dailies. About 4 parties, the current government are funding them right from the onset. A current generation media men. I want that information. But there are some fact evidence. Then, until he saw it in his hand, but he has spoken sometime, was it 3 weeks ago, that what is out of when we have enough in this country. So, for all Jews or Kanu, you should understand, we all know. Shomale said, join APC, your sins are forgiven. The current Senate president, how much billion, about something, how much you don't have this fight and speak?
Thank you.
So I think, look at Burkina Faso. The young man, what he's doing there now.
And I'm sure that any time from now, you might just have the opportunity to have a conversation with him in the studio. There are no facts to anything yet. True. You say you have your facts. We don't have any facts yet. But if you have your facts, well, we don't know where that fact is coming.
To him,
you can even tell him that.
You can call him and say, I have facts.
I'll answer you.
Barrister Peter Oko.
Hello, good afternoon.
You're welcome.
Yeah, my friend Okoyemi.
Yes, where with you?
Okay, this is Barrister Peter Oko. I'm calling from Mende, Maryland. Yes, Honorable. The performance for the past 2 years. You see, I'm sorry to say that I'm highly disappointed because much was expected when the Bola Tinubu government took over, especially with regards to Abuja. I don't know what happened, but I see the problem of gross insincerity. They have been very insincere to the Nigerian public. I think that is the major problem because when Mr. Tinubu came in his first broadcast, he told Nigerians that he met an empty treasury. And that is very indicting. And one would have expected that if you met an empty treasury, the first thing is to bring those people to book. Whoever left that empty treasury. But instead, he started taxing Nigerians left and right. That insincerity is very, very in a crowd, and you foul the air. They will give you a heavy knock on your head, yes. And because of that, we have a saying in my language that the head did not foul the air. But it is now getting the knock on the head, while APC that fouled the air are walking free of charge.
Thank you.
They have to probe the Buhari government and get some of the stolen money.
Thank you, Barrister Peter Oko.
The people like
Thank you. I will also read your messages. We have loads of them here. I will try and pick as much as we can. My name is Comrade Olishola. What I see in this country is just that the government and the politicians have no plans for Nigerians. You also went on to say, okay, the cause really. He said nobody's talking about, they all believe that to just get there and steal money and control power. 1993 was a year I would never forget in my life. Babangida versus Abiola. Then there was unity and a very strong one indeed. But the politicians see that and know that we have a problem with the people if it continues like that, and then they spread tribalism to poison the mind of every Nigerian. Now we are divided. We bought one Congo of rice at 4,000. They have entered us to okay, thank you. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Another crew members, wonderful and well thought analysis you're doing. Remember that the Bible says that when the foundation is faulty, What can the righteous do? This is to say because the president is being delusional and all his lieutenants are playing to the gallery as well. Nigerians are not angry with Mr. President over subsidy removal, who choose to copy from the Western world policies that suits themselves, but wouldn't go for that one that benefit the masses, e.g. for better governance. What a shame to our so-called leaders. That's JP from Surulere. Okay, I'm ᴘᴏ Solomon from Ikeja. Like it or not, nothing to rate about this administration speech that has reduced the ordinary Nigerians, except the few politicians on the part of the ruling party, to barely nothing. The second year anniversary. Come to think of it, someone who promised to bring something down ended up pushing the same thing to the sky. The government came clearly on the platform of falsehood, and any typical of some Nigerians, they will ride on the sentiment by playing the ethnic, tribal, and religious card. And as usual, let us give you one more time in 2027. The same thing that Buhari used to deceive gullible Nigerians. Or not use Okalu, let us not talk about him. Nigeria is in Atiku and Peter Obi, with Atiku as the flag bearer and Peter Obi as the vice. With the ones falling twice shy, it's only a foolish person that would allow the mistakes to be repeated. This is the time to be wise and stop living by precept. Thank you very much, Dr. Prince. This one says, the worst economy. Leadership has failed, and Nigerians have failed themselves to have allowed this to have happened over the years. No liberty, no freedom, no independence without any sacrificial lamb, because time to talk, depth of 500 naira, and then they went to borrow 5. The government and the supporters keep saying state and local government are now getting more money and we should hold them accountable. Unfortunately, the people are buying that excuse. What's pumping out to politicians is only settling them so that they can look away and the boys can. And it says the three sound bites to play that hypocritical, distasteful, humiliating, and insulting to the public pause, applause, and support competence of the leadership of the present government disguised as reforms. The late Fᴜʟʟ Oᴘᴜᴡ didn't use ATS before making a landslide impact on the nation. The late Chief Jakonde didn't use ATS before the unbeaten record of legacies in Lagos and so on. For those saying 2 years isn't enough to score this government, they have been misunderstood of Nigerians is gone from bad to worse. Okay, the leadership in this present ECOWAS is like put Tinubu and his men are voted out of Aso Villa in 2027, the juniors of APC as a whole. As far as I'm concerned, could you believe that I listened to the president on a TV show when hosting called himself the father of the nation, pronounced such statement? That's Friday from Mowe. Enough messages, let's speak calls.
Mr. Fuad, how are you?
Good afternoon, Prince Wise.
Let's have. We can't score in high. For me, I will give it just 35%. And two, I paid in office. You bring pains at the beginning. And I need. But the future was saying that some state government are getting a lot of money. What I don't do with the money, part of the project, because for me, that coastal road must be going, it must go now. For Sokoto down to Lagos, it's a project that must go. And when you listen to work minister, if they borrow the money, the first road to be tackled that you have forgotten, halfway, the contractor has run away.
Thank you,
so, for me, please, why I'm hopeful that Tinubu will succeed. If they go this way, Mr. Perez in Lagos, Mr. Fan,
thank you,
thank you for us.
Thank you.
We need
Thank you. Well, we don't even need to say, since I was born, the only subsidy I've ever heard of in my life is fuel subsidy. But since this government came, anything Owolarewaju says that things have really gone bad without. Okay, let's talk to the callers. Hello, good afternoon. Hello.
Fuad, this is Mr. James from my college junction. The person that was accusing Fuad, one thing that the current administration has done that Nigeria today can release from every corner to be our president. Just mention one thing. Even the Lagos State people are talking about with the revenue of Lagos State during when it was governed, I cannot even see much because even during the military era, during when we have Baba Mawa, we know the impact of governance then, even though it was a military man. When Jakande was there, we knew what he did. But please, this is where we are. The only one great achievement I know Bola Tinubu has done so far is by the removal of wicked instability man has no right to do. That is one achievement. Look at the mass killings everywhere, and they are any grave, and they are saying that man has tried. I don't so much. I'm not surprised at Ojozokan because he knew when he started still lying asleep. And that is one of those things they play politics with. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, more messages coming in. There's no way we can read some of this message. It should never be taken serious. Okay. Thank you very much. This one says, good afternoon, gentlemen. I watch side, and whether you like it or not, the world is noting. On the conversation you're having today, I listened in on another radio station this morning, and you guys have said almost the same thing. If you look at the entire promise of the APC in 2023, God bless Nigeria. My name is Ayola from Ikorodu. Okay, thank you very much. Keep your calls coming in. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Mainland FM.
I greet you.
You're welcome.
Let me greet with all this your amazing analysis. Do you know that some people will still force you are looking towards 2027 as 2026? We will see who the candidate that will be going for the president this time around. By the end of the day, Okoyemi, you will not come and give us 93%. Went back to court today for fighting.
The way we did. I mean, I think we had correspondents from about 28 different states of this country, and all of those people actually INEC office at INEC office, yes, in Yaba from I think the Saturday night till Wednesday afternoon. Let's call her this afternoon. You're welcome.
Good afternoon.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Doctor.
Good to have you join us.
Working on Monday, you bring a guy Gnali. The other day, you bring another person. Or yesterday, Tuesday, this sweet mouth. My brother, you will not tell blind man that rain is falling now. Nigeria, we are not good people. When things are okay, the guy will know that you can find me that they are there for this country. When they come, contest, what happened? Brother, what happened? These are the things wrong with you. Really achieve my brother, what's the most? Before the Oba come to power, I normally give people within myself, Mama, say 500. Where you go from you?
Thank you. We've had on the show today, place, still on Facebook. This one says, Iyede Samuel says, one chance government. You read something very critical, which is the president having the moment you look at Wike, for instance, and maybe you look at the Minister of Interior people. How does it make you feel that 24 months down the line, it looks like it's a case
deep reflection.
Deep reflection.
That's the moment of deep reflection that I think the president in any election that he has ever participated in. But
thank you very much, and God bless you to Side Forward. Well, next up by 3 p.m. is the boss with the super beautiful BB, and of course his whole Fola that you know that is one of the big boys out there doing some amazing music. He's going to be live in the studio to talk about his. By 5:30 there's going to be Mainland FM Global News. By 6 o'clock we'll come back for the midweek edition of Sports Cruise Live on Mainland 98.3 FM. Chelsea plays tonight. The final of the year went down to 9 p.m. I joined Gloria Young, Bimbo Akintola. It's an amazing session tomorrow 4 p.m. Don't miss it for anything in this world. Wow, how good. My name is Okoyemi Akenda. The program you just listened to is Midweek Politics returns next week.